It's the Gear Tester here, and welcome to my initial impressions video on the Prather Warbowie by Tops Knives. The Prather Warbowie is manufactured from a thick slab of 1095 carbon steel, a 1/4 inch thick in fact, which makes it a very sturdy and stout fixed blade knife. The sheath it comes with is just average, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it here in my initial impressions video. But what I want to do is focus on this awesome fixed blade knife. This knife has an overall cutting edge of 7.5 inches, or something very close to that. Okay? If you measure from where the handle begins to the tip of the blade, it's closer to 8 inches. It's going to weigh in at just under 15 ounces, which makes this a pretty beefy fixed blade knife. The Prather Warbowie, as the name indicates, is made in the tradition of the Western style Bowie knife. A broad, thick blade used for slashing and chopping. And I'm very happy to have one in my possession. The handle is very unique, and this is one of the things that attracted me to the Prather Warbowie by Tops Knives. If you notice there, the way in which the handle operates, the lines are very reminiscent of large knives or short swords that have been carried for many years in Afghanistan by Afghani warlords and just average soldiers over the last couple hundred years. And I don't know whether Jeff Prather did that on purpose, but that's one of the things that attracted me to this knife. I love that it's kind of blending East with West. Eastern, kind of a blade from Afghanistan with the Western Bowie knife. And that's one of the things that really attracted me to this particular blade. Let's look a little closer at the handle, because I really like the design of the handle. It's got what appears to be, at first look, at least online, to be very aggressive, okay, a very aggressive handle scales. But they are aggressive, but they are not painfully aggressive, okay? They don't hurt your hand. They're actually very, very comfortable, but yet provide a significant amount of grip. One thing I really like that Tops Knives does is they have these little spacers in between the micarta grip and the blade. And I got the terracotta colored ones. If I could make one little complaint, I wish that a person could know exactly what color the little liners were going to be on your knife. Sometimes they do white, sometimes they do darker red, but I'm very glad that I got these kind of terracotta colored spacers there, just because it does a good job of making this knife quite attractive. It kind of sets off the gray micarta from the black 1095 powder coated blade, and I like that. Another thing that I really appreciate about this knife is, like all of Tops Knives, it's made in the USA, and that is a cool feature. As often as possible, I try to buy products that are made and manufactured in the United States by Americans who like America. One problem that you will sometimes encounter with knives like the Prather Warbowie, knives that have such thick blades, is that they do not make good carvers or good slicers, because the angle is just not conducive to that, because they are such thick blanks or such thick pieces of stock that when they get carved or machined down, the angle is not conducive to the blade sliding easily through wood. But because the Prather Warbowie's angle here, because the blade is so broad, I'm finding here as I'm working with this knife that it actually is quite a nice carving blade, okay? And that's, one, because it's very sharp, and you can't really fault the knife if it's dull, right? It's not a good carver. It's dull, so it's not going to be a good carver. But this knife came from Tops Knives with a very nice edge, a very sharp edge on it, hair shaving sharp, and it's a good carver because that angle, okay, that makes up this knife, because the blade is so broad, it is a very decent carving knife for the size and weight that it is, okay? And I really like that about this blade, is that it is a usable tool. You know, the Tops Prather Warbowie, as you can imply from the name, is really designed to be a fighting knife. But I think it makes a very good camping tool, okay? A very good bushcraft tool, a very good survival tool that you might use to build shelter or to make tools, even to skin game. And you can see here that it does a very passable job in terms of of carving, and I'm very happy to see that that's the case. I hoped that would be the case with the Prather Warbowie because I could see that the blade was so broad, but I didn't know if that was going to be the case. And it is, and that makes me very satisfied. Or that is one of the things that makes me very satisfied with this blade. I'm very, very happy to have this knife in my possession. Over the last couple years, 4 or 5 years, I have tended to emphasize axes and hatchets with smaller fixed blade knives, but I got online and started looking at this knife, just got a hankering for it, so I pressed the purchase button, and I'm very, very happy. I've done some batoning, I've done some carving. This knife came razor sharp from the factory. Okay, hair popping sharp, and that's a great thing. That's a great feature that this knife comes with a usable, ready-to-go edge on the blade, that it is so durable. It's great for doing things like batoning. I've done a little bit of that, but I look forward to doing more of that. And you know, with this 15 ounces, it's actually quite a good chopper, which makes me very happy to have purchased this knife. If you like this video, I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel for more quality video reviews on the topics of shooting, camping, and survival gear. In addition to that, you will be alerted when I upload my full-length review on the Tops Prather Warbowie. This is the Gear Tester signing off. It's the Gear Tester here, and welcome to my initial impressions video on the Prather Warbowie by Tops Knives. The Prather Warbowie is manufactured from a thick slab of 1095 carbon steel, a 1/4 inch thick in fact, which makes it a very sturdy and stout fixed blade knife. The sheath it comes with is just average, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it here in my initial